Okay. So first level, Hot Pursuit. Right. Wow. Okay. Well, you can see that I've beaten it because of the flag. Silence. I'm not even gonna bother to look because I might not even be in the things anymore. Big Blue Expert. I would tell you what was wrong with all of these levels, but I honestly don't know. I mean, they all just blended in at the end. Corneria, good luck. I also would tell you how much time it took me to beat all of them, but again, I have no idea. Like, the what's it called? The average it took me to beat these levels, it was like 2 hours and a half to 10 hours. And then some of them have gone beyond that. The highest was 17 hours. Second highest was 15 hours, 40 minutes. And the next one's like 11 hours. And then there were a few 10 hours. And then a large majority of them was between 2.5 to 6 hours to be. Oh, look at this. Oh, this is one of his easy levels, so I still have the record on that. Here's Whiteland 1. So this is the first one that of the other one that I was just trying to beat. Phantom Road. I believe this was one of the levels that took me 11 hours to clear just because of 2 jumps. There was a dry bones section that you had to hit with a sideways spring and a Yoshi shell jump while avoiding a bunch of Kaiser blocks that was just extremely difficult to get past. Northern Hemisphere, hard. This is another one of his easy levels, which I still have the record on. Forest Frenzy, hard. Another one where I have the record on, which is also easy. Firefield X, expert. There. Cronut Lanes 1-1. This is another one of his easy levels. A lot of his easy levels I got the records on. Not all of them, so here that I don't have it, I'm not sure if I got it and then lost it, or if I never bothered getting it to begin with. Cronut Lanes 1-2, easy. This is another one of his easy levels. Planet Zeb's hard is another one of his easy levels. It's really fun too. Oh, look at that. I have the record on it. Umbrella Loam 2-1 normal. This is another one of his easy levels. Still have the record on it. Umbrella Loam 2-2 normal. Another one of his easy levels. He's got like, I want to say like 10 easy levels. Like the ones that are normal, hard, and easy in the titles, those are all really easy levels. There's a handful that I've gotten records on his really hard levels. You'll be able to see those in a bit. Umbrella 4-2-3 normal, still have the record on it. Umbrella Airship 2-4 hard, still have the record on it. Deathwind Expert, I believe this was one of his, no, I wanted to say one of his cape levels, but it's not. It looks like it, but it's not. Breeze Ridge 3-1 normal, another one of his easy levels. And you can tell that I've beaten them because of the red flag. So I still have the record on it. Bridge Ridge 3-2 normal, another one of his easy levels. Skyzo 88. This was one of the levels that took me like an hour to beat. So obviously it's based off of Panga, as you can tell by the name. I don't know if that says Morris or Morass. I have no clue. Of Collusion 4-1 hard, another one of his easy levels. I still have the record on that. Leap on the Wind expert. This level was ridiculous, dude. It's really, if you can get past, like right after the door, which is a 3, you have to juggle a Koopa shell 3 times in order to hit 3 POW blocks, and then you use the same shell in order to shell jump up above. If you can get past that, you can get past the entire level. But my god, this level took me only like 6 hours and a half, which compared to my other levels, this one didn't take very long, but it really hurts your fingers because it's, I believe it might be his only, if not one of 2 leaf flying levels that he has in the SMB3 theme, and you have to constantly be flapping, so it just wears out your hands really fast. Morris of Collusion 4-2 hard, another of his easy levels. Still have the record on that. Morris of Collusion 4 hard, another of his easy levels. Still have a record on that. Firefield 88 expert. This one I just finished beating not that long ago. This one took me like 15 hours and 40-ish minutes. This first section is not that bad, but going into the second half, my god, there are so many weird shell jumps that you need to do. Not only that, it's a speed run. A large majority of Barbarian's levels were speed runs. So yeah, at the very end, you have to do a double shell jump, and the first time I got to the double shell jump, I got it, but I forgot that it was a speed run, so by the time I entered the pipe, I ended up dying because I ran out of time. And then I actually ended up reaching the end like an extra 3 times, and then one of the times I got through the pipe, but I didn't have enough time because I spent too much time trying to get into the halfway pipe the first time. So I actually ended up dying right next to the axe, and then I finally got it after over 15 hours of attempts. It was pretty stupid and crazy. High and low expert. I don't remember anything about this level. So the average was about 2 hours and a half up to 10 hours, with some of them taking a little bit longer than that, which the general average was around 6 hours to beat. Any of the levels that actually ended up having a checkpoint like this one does, I actually ended up beating within 2 hours or so, maybe a little bit longer, just because of how tricky the level was to figure out or to do to begin with. But as you can tell, this one has a checkpoint, so a lot of these levels that had checkpoints, again, they only took like an hour to 2 hours to beat just because it had a checkpoint. In my opinion, if a lot of these levels, kind of like Firefield 88, had a checkpoint at the pipe, the level wouldn't be bad, but because it doesn't, the level ends up being bad because you have to do everything every single time you end up dying. So again, even though this one only took me, like, let's say around 2 hours to beat, it's still a very hard level, but because it had the checkpoint, it didn't take all that long. Tora expert. This level, the entire this one screen, as you can tell from just looking at it, is really easy, but there's 2 checkpoints. So there's a checkpoint entering the pipe and another checkpoint once you exit the sub area. Trying to exit that sub area is just the hardest thing in the world. So even though this one has a checkpoint, it actually ended up taking me, like, let's say 5 hours to beat just because of the sub area. Like, I don't know if I was doing something wrong or what, but my god, like, the entire setup for the sub area was just so bad that I just could not do it. Quidon expert. I believe this was another one of his easy levels, but there was when you go into the sub area, there's a shell that you need to jump off of by using a thwomp, and I just couldn't figure out how to do that until I just had to waste time by waiting for a boo, as you can tell by the thumbnail, to actually go up higher so I can do the setup that he wanted me to do. And considering the fact that there were no levels that actually existed for this on YouTube, I had to figure it out on my own, which is not that bad, but considering the setup, like, it was just stupid confusing. So this one actually took me quite a number of hours to beat just because of that. And just a reminder, I do actually have a video of every single level except for one, which I'll end up pointing out by pure accident, other than the ones that I haven't beaten, of course. Omelet Highland 5-1 normal, another of his easy levels, still have the record on that. Omelet Highland 5-2 hard, another of his easy levels, still have the record on that. Red Canyon Expert, I don't remember anything about this level. I have a record on that, so this must have been one of the very first, like, really hard levels that I actually ended up getting a record on, which is pretty cool. Throne of Blood Expert. This one wasn't too bad, and I'm pretty sure there's a checkpoint too. Ultra Star 88, another level based off of Panga. This level was actually fun. I think there's one jump that feels like it's unfair, but I don't really remember. It's not that bad of a level though. Kagemusha Expert. Madadayo Expert. Rashomon Expert. This is actually only a one screen, as you can tell. These ones that only have one screen didn't even take all that long to beat because they had only one screen, but a large majority of Barbarian levels, they have two entire screens, technically this size, so it's just really hard to beat them whenever they're that long. Ran. Trying to understand this level, like, you get to the checkpoint and there's a shell jump that you need to do, and then you have to do a grab, spring, drop, grab, pow, throw, stand onto a pipe that leads to another checkpoint. Just trying to get to checkpoint, from checkpoint 1 to checkpoint 2, for me was extremely difficult, but everything else about the level was really easy. The Hidden Fortress. This level sucked just because of the end boss that you had to do. So there, as you can tell by the thumbnail, there's a checkpoint. So once you enter the pipe, there's a checkpoint, and you have to do, as you can tell by the thumbnail, you have to go through that entire section plus a little bit longer with no checkpoints or power-ups or anything like that. And at the very end, there was a Bowser with a Bowser Jr. throwing hammers at you, waiting. And my gosh, just trying to go through this entire labyrinth of bullcrap with a giant lanky Mario without being able to lose him was really bad. It sucked. This level was definitely hard just because of that. But again, there's a checkpoint, so it's not that bad. Once you can get past the sub-world. Super Firefield. This was one of the levels that I just finished clearing that actually ended up taking 17 plus hours to beat. Really sucks. It had a few really bad jumps, but once you get used to everything in the level, it's not that bad. But Onibaba, it says Garbo at the top. Can only imagine why. I don't remember anything about this level. There are checkpoints in it. I don't know what makes it bad, but there was most likely something in it that was horrible. One screen Barbarian Attila. So as what this thing says, a lot of the tricks that you see in Barbarian levels have these weird ass like shell jumps or setups that you have to do. So by the time he got to this level, he had already done this trick several times. So having it be done, like let's say this is his 50th level, by the time he reached the 50th level to do this one screen level just made no sense to me, because he had already done this trick before. So I have no idea why at this point he finally decided to teach people how to do his tricks. But I mean, this was most likely, as you can tell, a 6-second record. It was probably like a 5-minute level or less. Mute City. I believe this is the only level that I don't have a video for, because during the time that I was uploading the YouTube videos, for whatever stupid reason, my YouTube was having problems. So I'm not sure if I uploaded a different level thinking it was Mute City and then deleting Mute City because I thought I had already uploaded it, or if it was actually YouTube where I had the video that I wanted and then it ended up giving me a different one by accident because I was uploading more than one at once. So I believe this is the only level that I don't have a video for, but this level does have at least one checkpoint, and it's not that bad. But I mean, as you can tell, I did beat it, so yeah. One screen Barbarian Alaric. This was again another trick that I had already done, so this was probably like a 5-minute level. Harakiri. I don't remember anything about this level, but it's not that bad. New City Sky. Yeah, I don't remember anything about this level. It looks like it's only a one screen though. Yeah, it's just the one screen that you have to do. Considering the fact that I'm probably the best at when it comes to new SMBU, it wasn't that bad for me, but it's still another hard level. One screen Childeric. This was actually the only trick that Barbarian did not do except for once. And this was used in Whitelands 2, which I wasn't able to beat. And trying to beat this level actually ended up taking me like 30 minutes, maybe an hour, just to try and understand what he wanted me to do. The way this trick is done in this level is most likely different from the way that I was doing it in Whitelands. Like, for instance, the way I think you're supposed to do this level is you're supposed to throw the POW up for whatever reason, let the Buzzy Beetle fall, and then let Mario hit the Buzzy Beetle as Mario is turning right. So you hit the Buzzy Beetle right in order to do a shell jump as the Buzzy Beetle is coming back down left. But the way I was doing it in Whitelands 2, you can actually hit the Buzzy Beetle right away in order for the Buzzy Beetle to go left, and by the time he's shooting back right, you actually have time to hit the shell and jump back up. Because in Whitelands 2, this trick is used by entering a pipe versus no pipe, as you can tell by the thumbnail. So even though I was able to do this trick, and even though he has it way down below in his list, he actually doesn't bother using the trick till way later on. Ikiru. I think this was one of his gimmicky levels where you just have to do a bunch of small tricks everywhere in order to beat, but I honestly don't remember. Double Indemnity. Another just one screen. Whitelands 2. Oh, well, there you go. It wasn't used that much far. This was one of the only levels that I wasn't able to beat, so I was actually able to clear 97 out of 100 of his levels. I'll explain more about them when I actually get there, but when it comes to this one, I did enter the pipe, halfway pipe, only once. It has no checkpoint. It has this horrible trick right here in what he calls it, Childeric. And I was able to do that. As far as I got to this level, it was actually you hop onto a Yoshi to grab a flying POW. You're supposed to throw the POW in order to jump off of Yoshi to land on the POW in order to get to the final trick of the level. I actually ended up jumping off of the POW and then jumping to get to the next section, and how the power is supposed to activate is just these two thwomps are supposed to fall, and it's supposed to hit the POW in order to kill a giant muncher. The damn POW never killed the muncher, so I ended up dying and never being able to attempt the trick again. So I'll show this a little bit later on, but I put in 10 hours and a half into trying to beat this level and just wasn't able to do it. Juwan. There you go. Yojimbo. I don't know if that's how you're supposed to say it, but that's how I say it. Senjuro. The Hunt for Red October is one of 2 of water levels, I believe. This one wasn't too bad, to be honest. It's an auto-scroller, which, in my opinion, just ruins it, but, I mean, obviously he can do whatever he wants with it. John Carpenter's The Thing. This level is obviously hard because everything's made out of ice. And I believe it's only just the one screen, so... And it also has a checkpoint, but just trying to do all of it while on ice effect is really hard. 7 Samurai. Not only that, but let's say 60 to 70 levels made from Barbarian. He loves to use the falling Yoshi drop grab bullcrap, where a Yoshi falls from the sky and you're supposed to jump to Yoshi to jump off of Yoshi, or have Yoshi to jump off of Yoshi to land on a Yoshi, and does it several times, especially at the end, like this one. As you can tell by the thumbnail all the way to the right where the tape is, that section has a falling Yoshi, so you're supposed to jump to land on Yoshi to jump off of Yoshi to land onto the victory screen. So it really sucks, but see, this one also has it. It took me quite a long time to get used to it, but you know, that, like, let's say 60 levels in, he really loves to use the whole jumping on top of Yoshi victory thing, which really sucks, but I mean, once you get used to it, I guess it's not that bad. The Sword of Doom, Port Town, Firefield Arcade. I'm pretty sure this is one of his Firefield levels that has a checkpoint. I could be wrong, but because it was done in the regular Mario Bros. Theme, it wasn't really all that bad. The Seventh Seal. This is another one of his gimmicky levels where he has a bunch of coins that you need to pick up. So the level ended up being hard just because you had to do a lot of things at once. But I want to say it's not that bad. I'm pretty sure there is a checkpoint to it, but I'm not really all that sure. The Shining. I believe this is the part where Barbarian starts to use a lot of Kaizo blocks to kill you quite cheaply. And as you can tell by the end, this level, even though I'm pretty sure it has a checkpoint, I might be wrong. No, there isn't. I don't know. This level, the only reason it took me so long to beat was because of the ending, where you have 3, I think it's boos, chasing you on top of clouds, so they actually move back and forth quite fast, which really pissed me off. One YMM stands for 1 year Mario Maker Big Blue Arcade. So this level isn't that bad because it's meant to showcase the 1 year Mario Maker anniversary, I guess. Gojira. So again, the levels that have checkpoints actually ended up being a lot more fun because they give you the chance of playing more of the level without having to go back and redo every single thing. They live. Oh, look at that. Another world record where it's one of his hard levels. So 2 minutes and 52. I wouldn't be surprised if this level has a checkpoint. So if anything, obviously the record can be beaten by a lot because I ended up dying. Keiichi Joe. This level is based off of a guy that also streams Super Mario Maker from Japan. I don't know if he goes by Keiichi on Twitch and goes by Sayun on YouTube or the other way around, but again, this is based off of another Mario Maker streamer. Total Recall. Enter the Dragon. This is a level that's based off of rooms. So as you can tell, you go into one door to exit another door and get past that section to enter another section. It's kind of like S&W ROM hacks where you have 4 rooms that you need to beat before you finally get a checkpoint. I don't know if this level has a checkpoint. I want to say it does, but trying to get past the rooms is extremely difficult. SI Red Canyon Arcade. I want to say this was for a contest of some sort or for something because of the SI that usually stands for something, but I don't know what the heck this thing stands for, nor do I know how difficult it is. Master and Commander. Apparently this is from what I've heard, one of Barbarian's hardest levels for some odd reason. I don't really know why it's not that hard. Mainly, probably because I too made a really difficult level. And what I find funny about this is, I don't want to say I found a lot of similarities about this level versus my own level because I simply can't remember anymore. But I do remember me making a really hard water level and then wanting to add a maze at the end, and then when I ended up playing this level and then it also having a maze at the end just brought way too many memories. So as you can tell, this is released February 1st, 2017. So if we look at my level, which is this one, it was released December 16, 2016. So his level was released a little bit over a month after mine. And again, because it has the maze at the end, was just bringing way too many memories. It's like, why does it seem so much like my own? But obviously that's most likely just a coincidence. I'm not trying to throw him under the bus or anything like that. It was just coincidental that his had a lot to do with also mine, which is kind of funny. Whiteland Arcade. I don't know anything about this level, but Escape from New York. Shin Firefield. This is the only level that I believe I can't clear. If anything, and given enough time, I'm sure I can beat any level out there, assuming I actually want to do it. like this one, if I wanted to do it, I'm sure this level would actually end up taking me like 20 plus hours to beat, just because of how many different tricks you have to do all at once. When it came to this level, I actually ended up playing it for 2 hours and 23 minutes. And playing it for 2 hours and 23 minutes, I actually ended up getting about 3/4 into the first level, into this first screen. Never got into the sub area, but getting 3/4 into this screen, I felt pretty damn good. I just did not like this level. There's way, like, the more there is going on in a Mario Maker level, the more I hate it, just because I need to remember so much, and I was just like, I'm not really into that. Just ended up skipping it after 2 hours, so getting 3/4 into the level I didn't think was too bad, to be honest. Jurassic Park, I actually ended up beating the record, taking the record from Grand Pooh Bear, which is another Twitch streamer. His time was like 10 minutes something, so my time is 9 minutes 5 seconds. I didn't beat his record by all that much, but you know, I guess I beat it, so there you go. This level is actually extremely difficult, even though it has 2 checkpoints in it. I believe it has 2 checkpoints. It has at least 1 checkpoint in it, and my god, this level is extremely difficult. And this one also has a Yoshi drop, so that really blows. The Evil Dead, this has a checkpoint in it, but you actually can't grab it. So you have to do everything at once, and it's an auto-scroller, so it's a fast auto-scroller. Also have the record for it, which is kind of amazing, to be honest. I don't remember anything about the record for this level, so just having it's pretty crazy, but that just goes to show how long I was playing it for. Green Plant, Go Sagan's Castle, Air Force One. This level actually ended up taking me 6 hours and a half to beat, and the only reason it was taking me that long is because you have to do a P-switch jump, which I believe, in my opinion, they're like one of the worst things that you can do. So having to do a P-switch jump really sucked. And at the very end, you have to do a double shell jump in order to get up above a muncher that's sticking out just enough to kill you. So this level, even though I'm most comfortable when it comes to new SMBU levels, this level took me so long to beat just because of shell jumps. And usually a lot of these levels, they took me a long time to beat because there's shell jumps. Like, if you just give me a standard shell jump, I'll be fine, but if you give me crazy ass shell jumps that I need to do while going really fast and not being able to stop or think, they just suck me dry, I guess you can say, and I just can't get through it. So even though 6 hours and a half might not seem like it's all that much, it's quite a lot. And just trying to do the P-switch jump on top of 2 shell jumps, it's basically a 2 shell maxed high jumps, which really sucked. And oh my gosh, I was so glad when I finally beat this level. Go Sagan's Basement. Oh, apparently I have the record for this level at 17 minutes, so it just goes to show how horrible the level is. I don't remember anything about it. I'm sure the sub area is the thing that sucked the most, but again, I don't know. A New Hope. I think this was one of the first levels that I played that was given to me by a viewer, and I figured if I'm gonna, and at this point I was doing the Barbarian challenge, so I figured if I'm gonna do them, I might as well just finish this one really quick. I kind of wish I would have just waited, but it didn't really matter. But this was actually one of his first levels that I actually ended up beating when it came to the challenge. The Empire Strikes. The reason why I'd say it sucks is because of how easy it is compared to everything else he had. The Empire Strikes Back. Return of the Jedi. Fellowship of the Ring. Oh, another world record that I got. 4 minutes, 28 seconds. The biggest trouble that this level gave me was the end. In the sub area, it is extremely hard to get into the pipe that leads to the very end. And when you actually get to the very end, you have to do a damage boost. So you have to keep Big Mario throughout the entire process. You have to take a damage boost in order to do a shell jump while juggling it while on top of a vine. And on top of that, there is a thwomp that comes down and kills you if you don't do everything correctly. So I actually ended up reaching the ending like 5 times by the time I finally got it. So that's probably the only reason why I have a world record in it, because I was just so comfortable doing every bullcrap in the level. And the level does have 1 checkpoint, but again, just because it has it doesn't mean the levels become easy. It just makes it easier to beat. Firefield Return. Pangea Panga's New Crib. God, this level was beyond bad. Not bad as in it sucked, but it's just extremely difficult. And as you can tell, I have the world record on it as well. That's just how much time I had to shove into this level. I don't remember what the sub area looked like, but whatever it looked like, it was difficult for sure at 1 minute and 53 seconds. The 2 towers, this level is based off of another Panga level. And Panga made an SMW ROM hack. And Barbarian based this level off of that. I don't remember which ROM hack it was, but it was like Super Dram World, I want to say. If it's not 1, it's Dram World 2, but it was based off of that. So the level was actually fun. And this is a vertical, quote-unquote vertical level, so coming into Mario Maker 2, he'll most likely end up revisiting this level, or a level that would be based off being vertical in some way, to actually give it its proper vertical. And not just making a level that goes from left to right and just redoing it that way, because this level is very good. I'm not sure how many checkpoints it has. I'm pretty sure there's 1 checkpoint, but again, the way it had to be made, it had to be ripped in parts just because Mario Maker isn't based off of vertical whatsoever. So again, it would be fun to see him redo this in Mario Maker 2, just because it has vertical in it. Return of the King. This was one of his first flying levels, and I had to dissect a lot of what this level had, because I'm not very good with Cape. And this being one of his first Cape levels in the SMW theme, that it made trying to beat this level extremely difficult, even though this level does have, I believe, 2 checkpoints. I ended up reaching the very end of the level next to the axe, I think 3 times by the time I finally beat it, just because I kept taking damage or failing a mid-air spring jump, which really sucked, but yeah. Space Jam. Carl's Yoshi Barbecue. I believe 100% that I can beat this level, especially since it has 2 checkpoints, but the reason why I didn't beat it is because you have to do a wall clip into a door entry that I was just not able to do. So I actually ended up trying this level for what my timer says, 4 hours and 17 minutes, but this was the second time coming back to this level, and I think the first time I had tried it, I had at least put 1 hour into it, if not more, so that already bumps it up to 5. But a large majority of that time was me just trying to do the damn door clip, which I actually ended up trying to practice it for about 4 to 5 hours. So that's the only reason why I can't beat this level, and it really sucks because this would have been my 98th level that I would have been able to beat for sure. But again, I wasn't able to do the door clip, so I just couldn't beat it. 2YMM Final Blue. So this level is really easy. This is the 2-year Mario Maker anniversary that he made. Not that bad. Full Metal Jacket. Thunderball. I also would not be surprised that if some of the records that I got from his difficult levels were beaten, I wouldn't be surprised if people never even tried coming back to them. But again, I have gotten a few world records on his hardest levels, but if I don't happen to have it now, it's because it was beaten, and I don't even know which ones those were to begin with. So yeah, Surf Ninjas, Rumble in the Bronx, Blazing Saddles, Spaceballs, Hard Boiled. Man, this guy really likes Fritz. Really loves getting world records, doesn't he? I'm surprised he never took some of mine, or all of them. If he did take some of them. Die Hard. Blade Runner. Blade Runner is actually one of his most fun Kaizo levels. It's a Kaizo adventure level where you need to pick up certain items or power-ups in order to get past other sections. It's really cool. It definitely makes the use of having to come back to areas where you had previously already been, but it going down to a different section, which was really fun. This level ended up taking me like probably over 3 hours to beat, just because again of how difficult it is. And I actually ended up reaching the ending like 3 or 4 times before finally beating it, just because of how the tricks are done, and not understanding how to do them all at the same time while you're there for the first time. And wow, it's actually right before his final level. And then the Final Fire. This is by far his easiest level out there. I'm not sure if it's his easiest level or if it's easiest level for me, because at this point I had already beaten 95 levels. So this level has a checkpoint. It has one checkpoint, and oh my gosh, it took me 1 hour and 4 minutes to do. So that's just how easy it was. And on top of that, a lot, like, I believe like 30 or maybe even 40 of his levels at the beginning, I didn't use any video to tell me how to clear them. I actually ended up playing them blind from the start to the end, other than maybe a handful of them where I needed to see what people were doing because I simply didn't understand what was going on. And then after that, I just decided to look up the video and see what people were doing, because at that point I was running out of time when it came to the challenge itself. So by the time I beat 40 levels, I started just looking up every single level that I could. Not every single level had a video, which sucked. But again, I have a video of every single level except for Mute City and the 3 levels that I wasn't able to beat. So I was able to beat 97 out of 100 levels, and out of those 97, I'm 100% positive that I can beat Carl Yoshi Barbecue and Whiteland 2, just given a little bit more time. But today being my final day, assuming I don't finish I Want to Be the Boshi in time, I just wasn't able to do it. So yeah. So just to show a little bit off, coming here. So Whiteland 2, I put 10 hours and a half of attempts. Carl Yoshi's Barbecue, 4 hours and 17. Although this number should be bigger, but it doesn't have the full time, so it's closer to 6 hours. And then Shin Firefield, which is the only level that I believe that I can't beat unless if I'm given like 20 plus hours of attempts at only 2 hours and 23 minutes. You know, I gave every single level a try, and yeah, I'm really glad I got 97 levels, but it definitely could have been higher for sure. And then to finally look at my final numbers for now, make this go away. 218 stars, 10 easy clears. The reason why I have 10 is because at one point I was doing like dumb challenges where I was trying to, you know, beat every single 100 Mario without dying once. So I ended up playing easy, normal, again, or, you know, just doing using no hands or blind or, you know, something stupid like that. So I ended up getting 10 easies, 9 normals. I kind of wish they were both the same. I started playing the game a few months after Mario Maker's release. So Mario Maker came out, I believe, September 2015. I didn't start playing it or streaming it till the following year, I believe. I could be wrong. It could have been that I started playing it on December and didn't start streaming it till January because I didn't have a capture card when I got the game. And the only reason I bought a Wii U was so I can play this game, which is kind of funny. So at that time, there was no Super Expert, so I ended up beating around 264. And then 400 Super Experts, which is pretty crazy. Again, Super Expert didn't exist, so beating a lot more Super Experts than Experts, even though when I started playing the game there was only such thing as Expert, was pretty crazy. Courses played, 18,452. Courses cleared, 14,754. So about 4,000 of those levels I wasn't able to beat. Total plays, 320,277. And lives lost, 305,523. So I didn't lose more lives than I played, which is kind of hilarious considering the fact that when I started doing Barbarian Challenge in February, and now just finishing today, it's February, March, May, February, March, April, May. So I actually been doing this challenge for 4 months now. I thought it was only 3. So doing it for 4 months, and the amount of lives that I lost that I actually didn't actually get higher than total plays. Not sure if lives lost could be higher than total plays, but either way I didn't, which is pretty cool. And then courses uploaded. So throughout my entire time, I wasn't / not a Mario Maker. I'm mainly a Mario player. So this is my very first level. Again, when I didn't have when I wasn't streaming it. Released, what is that? October 1st, 2015. So there you go. The game was released in September, so I actually got my console a month after the game's release. That's pretty crazy. But I didn't start streaming it till way later, because this is my next level. October 6, 2015. I was not streaming by this point. Shell or Spiny Helmet, September 10th, so only a few days later. I was not streaming by this point. And I was streaming by this point, so there you go. This is December 16, 2016. Wow, so an entire year later? I was streaming by this point, but again, I'm not a Mario Maker, so it took me quite a long time to get to this section. So by this point, I must have been playing for damn near a year, obviously, because I got the game before the year. Green Windmills of Confusion, released, oh damn, 2016, 2017, so 5 months later. Whatever month that is, the 2017. Is this even possible? This is just a gimmick level. Released again, look at that. Month 5, this is month 9. So September 23rd, 2017. So 4 months later, I ended up releasing this level. Which, it's just a gimmick level. It's just get Yoshi through the little gap and use him in order to get to the next section. And then my final level, which is watch out for gaps. And as you can tell, damn, September 2017, this one is May 2018, so another few months later, like 5 months later or so. And this is, this is another gimmicky level where it's just get 2 mushrooms in order to exit. And then one more thing. Let's see how long I've been playing the game for. Which is not something you'll be able to see, but I'll show the camera either way. Daily log. Right there. Oh. Let me make it bigger. Right there. So playtime 2,754 hours and 37 minutes, and times played 810. Which is pretty nuts. So I've been playing the game for over 3 years now. So all of these things here, they're the days that I actually ended up playing. I want to say. Yeah, like the reason why it says Friday here one time with hour 43 is because I stream at 10 o'clock my time and don't stop till 3 o'clock technically the next day. So right there, like 4 hours 17 plus 143. And then Saturday, Sunday, you just don't play at all. It's pretty cool. So yeah, today is my final day playing Mario Maker. I don't really feel all that bad considering the fact that Mario Maker 2 is gonna come out in a month. June 28th. June 28th is when Mario Maker 2 comes out. So hopefully that gives me another 3 years plus of entertainment, because Mario Maker 1 was definitely very fantastic. So I really hope that Mario Maker 2 is just as equally as good, if not more, obviously, because it's the second one. So yeah, I've been streaming for 3 hours and for 3 hours or 4 hours and a half. No, almost 5 hours. I've been streaming for 40 minutes longer than I should have because I was doing this. It's not a big deal. So yeah, 97 out of 100. I don't feel too bad. So with that, I am done. I'm not gonna host anyone. I'll just host Twitch. I'll just let Twitch decide who to host. So I'll be back tomorrow with I'm gonna be finishing Supraland. Wasn't able to finish it last weekend, so I'm gonna finish it on Friday, and then on Saturday the start of I Wanna Be the Bashi will begin. So with that, I really do hope you guys enjoyed, and really do appreciate Foxy Mimitron with the $3 tips. And again, I'll be back tomorrow at 10 or 11 p.m. Central Time, depending on what time I get off work, to subtract 4 hours from now. That's usually when I go live. And with that, I'm going to head out. Everyone.